Pocket FM.
To unlock all the episodes, click the link in bio.
I could get us to the beach in time for sunset. Thomas coolly leaned against his car and dared Amelia with a boyish confidence. I drive fast. Amelia gave him a teasing grin. I don't doubt you do. The joyride was a tempting offer. Amelia imagined herself in the red sports car, window down with her hair blowing in the South Beach air. Becoming a single mom at 19 had forced her to grow up fast. She wanted to say yes, but was also feeling guilty for having left Max alone at home all night. Plus, what was she supposed to do when it came time for Thomas to drive her back? She couldn't exactly give him Prince Calderon's estate as her home address. Keeping Max's paternity a secret was turning out to be tricky in more ways than one. Sensing her hesitation, Thomas coaxed her with a sly smile. Or maybe you'd rather be in the driver's seat? He cocked his head. I'm happy to let you steer me anywhere you want to go. Amelia bit her lip regrettably as she decided to be responsible. It's not that I don't want to, but I've been out all day and I have a son to get home to. Thomas studied her with a charming ease. Damn, I think I'm jealous of a 5-year-old. He's cuter than me, isn't he? Amelia chuckled. Cooler, too. Is he taking applications for stepdads? Surprised by the forward joke, she quirked a brow. Skipping a few steps before the second date? Well, you did wear white to our first. His comeback made her blush. Just then, he held out his hand. Since we're doing everything backward, let's try to put one thing in order. Give me your phone. Amelia watched, amused, as he saved his number in her phone and texted himself from hers, then tossed it back. I'll call you in a few days for that dinner I owe you. All right, this guy was smooth. Maybe too smooth, but she can't deny the time she spent with him felt effortlessly fun. It was the last thing she expected out of a blind date orchestrated by her grandmother. If dating could be like this, she might consider making time for it. His car roared to life, drove away a few yards, and then suddenly reversed before he rolled down the window and flashed her a mischievous smile. When I call, make sure you answer, okay? Amelia rolled her eyes playfully, before waving him off. When Amelia got home after her date, she went straight to Max's bedroom to check on him and found him perched on the bed watching the news. A nightly ritual she found odd for a 5-year-old. Hey, little moon, she greeted softly. Big star! Max exclaimed, jumping off the bed to give her a tight hug. How was your blind meeting? Blind date, she corrected, laughing. It was not bad. He was a perfect gentleman, she added, leaning in to whisper. And almost as cute as you. Is he your boyfriend now? What's his name? Max asked with bright eyes. That's not how it works, my love, Amelia said with patient care. But if things work out, I promise I'll tell you. Max gave a sleepy nod, and Amelia turned off the TV. Time for bed, okay? A groggy Max proudly shared. Daddy was on the news today. Amelia looked at him sweetly. Oh, yeah? How'd he do? Max fought sleep as he spoke. He was at the Spanish consulate? Amelia prompted gently. Yes, the Spanish consulate. Talking about, defense stuff? Max mumbled before falling asleep mid-sentence. Amelia pressed a soft kiss to his forehead and retreated to her bedroom. Amelia took a warm shower to refocus from her date to work mode. so she could sit to study for her upcoming certificate exam. It was scheduled for tomorrow and would determine whether her internship would keep her on to work with them as a translator. So it was important she thoroughly prepared. Just then, she realized she was missing another reference book, and she knew exactly where it was likely misplaced. She slipped on her robe and padded over to the study. There, she was surprised to see Javier seated in his leather armchair, reading a book. His aura felt darker than usual, and he didn't bother to look up when she entered. So she tried to act unbothered and do just that. Hello? Late night reading? She asked, stepping inside. He kept his gaze fixed on the pages and gave a simple grunt. That's it? Not even a full word? Who knew the grouch was so precious about his reading time? Whatever. Who needs pleasantries anyway? Amelia decided to ignore the surly prince and quickly get what she came here for. She searched the shelves for her book, and of course, it was just slightly out of her reach. She stretched her arm up and stood on her tiptoes, straining to grab it. How do my books always end up in the heavens? Is this house staff pranking me? After Javier's rude greeting, she didn't dare ask for his help and desperately stretched a little higher. Just then, a shadow fell over her and she felt a warmth behind her. Javier. She felt his deep voice rumble. Here. His gaze darkened slightly, and her breathing quickened. Flustered, she pressed herself closer to the bookshelf in an attempt to create some distance. But, with her sandwiched between him and the bookshelf, her effort was futile. He narrowed his eyes as he handed her the book. So stubborn. Didn't learn from last time. Amelia cleared her throat of nerves and sniped back. How could I disrupt the prince's reading for such a trivial request? The air between them felt charged. He seemed to be in a bad mood. But why? Just because she didn't ask him to get her a book? Was this a male ego thing she didn't understand? His low voice broke her thoughts. How was he? Who? She stammered, her thoughts scattered. Your blind date. His tone was cool, his expression unreadable. She froze, surprised that he knew. Stalking me again? Amelia assumed he would back away. Planning to pursue it further? Perhaps. You seemed sweet, she murmured, bracing against the bookshelf. Javier's expression darkened further. Sweet, huh? And to think just the other day you berated me for ruining the great love you had with Charles. Are you so fickle that you already forgot about him? His words cut into a deep wound, but Amelia refused to let him see that they stung. I told you I don't like him anymore. Javier scoffed in disbelief. She didn't understand what she'd done to earn such an interrogation. But since he was sticking his nose in her personal life, she could finally ask a question of her own. And you? Are you going to marry Miss Sans? Amelia held her head up, coolly, and spoke matter-of-factly. I don't care, either way. I'd just like to know roughly when the wedding would be so I can make plans, as I need to move out. Javier's jaw clenched in displeasure. This woman was like a broken record today, emphasizing how little she cared. He turned and walked out, but Amelia followed on his heels. Do conversations only work one way, with your highness? You ask all the questions and I get no answers? Javier growled with icy frustration. You don't need to worry about all that, unless I tell you to leave my house. You're not going anywhere. Amelia stared at him, baffled by this demand. Before she could formulate a response, Javier had strode out, leaving her alone. The next day at work, an emotionally worn Amelia sat with Faith in the lunchroom, studying for their certification exam, which was only a few hours away. Amelia tried to focus, but her mind kept drifting back to Javier's intense interrogation and the words he barked at her last night. Unless I tell you to leave my house, you're not going anywhere? How could Javier manage to make that statement sound both like a reassurance and a threat? And what did he mean by it? Faith, she said hesitantly, can I get your take on something? Faith teased. Did you change your mind about flashing the inspectors so I can steal the test answers? Faith glanced up and noticed Amelia's serious expression. Oh, what's wrong, Ames? Hypothetically, Amelia started. Let's say you're at a job you like, but you're unsure whether your boss intends to replace you with someone more qualified. But when you ask him, he says that unless he tells you to leave, you're not going anywhere. Faith frowned, confused. What kind of non-committal answer is that? Did Mr. Schultz say that to you in your performance review? Ugh, he's such a... I'll go above him and talk to Lauren. Amelia quickly shook her hands. No, it's not Mr. Schultz. Shh, it's fine. Faith didn't understand. Who said that to you then? Just then, there was a commotion in the lunchroom as a cluster of employees flocked to the TV in the lounge. Their energy was anxious, which caught Amelia and Faith's attention. They joined their colleagues gathered by the TV where a breaking news report was playing. What's going on? Amelia asked. A coworker turned to her, his expression grim. There was a bombing. They think it's a terrorist. Faith exclaimed, What? That's terrible. Where? Downtown at the Spanish consulate, the man replied, and Amelia's stomach dropped and her heart began to race. The Spanish consulate? That's where Javier's office is. Worried, Amelia shoved her way to the front of the TV where she read the headline. Breaking news, deadly bombing at the Spanish consulate. Prince Calderon's whereabouts and condition unknown. Amelia's breath hitched, and her chest tightened as panic began to set in. She gasped under her breath. Javier. She couldn't hear the news reporter. Can someone turn this up louder? Her breathing was harried, and she shouted, Who has the remote? How do we turn this thing up? I can't hear what's happening.
To find out what happens next, download the Pocket FM app in the next minute to get free access to all episodes of The Royal Accident for free.
Pocket FM.
To unlock all the episodes, click the link in bio.